Hey guys, so it's almost September and that means uni is starting soon. I am going into my second year, but for loads of you it's going to be your first year, which is super exciting. I absolutely loved my first year of university. It ended up being amazing, but there's so many things that I wish I had been told before going. So I thought it would be helpful to make this video with all my top tips, everything that I would have wanted to know last year. And hopefully it will help you guys that are going into uni this year. I'm also going to include the answers to a little Q&A that I did on my Instagram about uni. So yeah, fingers crossed this video is just going to turn into a really helpful little source of information of a bunch of stuff that would be helpful for you to know before starting university. The first thing I'm going to talk about in today's video is friendships. I'm not going to lie, this is probably what I was most nervous about, most apprehensive about before starting uni. I was literally like, am I going to make any friends and how? Are they going to be nice? I was really scared, but it's honestly not that scary, and hopefully what I'm about to say will help you guys see that. The main thing I'd say about making friends is don't put pressure on yourself to get to university and find your dream group of friends immediately. Some people do get that, and then for others it doesn't work that way. I would not say it worked that way for me. And it can be really hard seeing other people click with their group so quickly and you just not. But biggest tip regarding friendship, don't put pressure on yourself, just take it easy, know that it's gonna come, it's gonna happen, it will be fine. A couple of questions that I got on Instagram. So someone asked me, do you think you have to live in uni halls to make friends? So the short answer to that would be no, and the long answer, so I stayed in uni halls because my uni's too far away for me to commute, and I wanted that living in halls, living with students kind of experience. And it was really great, and I am really close with one of my flatmates, so it was really useful to me personally in making friends. But I wouldn't say that you need that to make friends, because there's so many people I know at uni who commute and they've got really lovely groups of friends, they're completely happy. So yeah, it's not a necessity, it's just two different experiences. And I also got asked the best way to make friends. Honestly, I have no idea. I don't know if anyone knows how they end up making friends with people, but I'll try and give some ideas. So the most helpful thing that people always seem to find is joining societies, because you meet like-minded people, people who share the same interests as you, and so you're bound to find someone there you might click with. But also I think the main thing is just to understand that everyone is in the same boat. No one knows anybody, everyone's a little bit scared, everyone's a little bit nervous, so just be yourself and eventually you will find your kind of people. I know that all sounds really cringy and everyone says it all the time, but that actually is what worked for me. So for my next point, I'm gonna stick with the social side of things and talk about societies, which I briefly mentioned earlier. On Instagram, I got asked if I joined any societies at uni, and the answer to that is yes. I've joined and tried quite a few, but the one that I have stuck with is Medsoc dance, because I just can't not dance. I love dancing, and so that's where I'm at, that's where I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna talk about how I decided which societies to join, because I feel like that could be really useful. So in Freshers Week, I basically went to all the Freshers fairs, all the societies fairs, collected their leaflets, found out when their trials were, their trial sessions, and I went to 10 to 12 different society trials. I know that sounds excessive, but I found it really helpful because I got to see how the society would work, if I enjoyed it or not, and that's what helped me choose my societies. The other question on Instagram which I got about societies is actually a really good question, and it was, how do you get over nerves when you're joining a society by yourself? So it's a really hard question. I think everyone's levels of nervousness are different, but the majority of people that I know are nervous when they're going to a new place with completely new people. Like, it is really scary. I was really scared as well, but all I can tell you is the top 2 things that I told myself. The first thing was, most people are going to be in the same boat. The chances are there are going to be people there who don't know anyone else. So that could help. The other thing I used to say to myself was, if I don't go, am I going to regret it? And the answer was always yes, because if you don't go and try it, you're never going to know if you absolutely loved it. And if you absolutely hate it, that's it. That's the worst that can happen. You absolutely hate it. So I think those 2 things really, really helped me. I also sometimes try to get pep talks from my family and friends back at home. It's just always helpful to talk through nerves and things with people that you know and love. So that's another tip. But yeah, that society's done. The final kind of social thing I'm going to talk about is going out. I got asked a question on Instagram, and it was, do you often feel pressure to go out and drink? Again, in a short answer, personally no, I don't feel pressure to go out and drink, but obviously there's a lot of factors that play out into whether you feel pressured or not. I think the biggest thing is probably yourself. So I would very much go if I want to and not go if I don't want to, because I know that if I go when I don't want to, it's just not going to end well. I'm not going to feel very good the next day. I'm going to be tired, and I'm not going to enjoy it if I didn't want to go. So remember to listen to yourself and what you need. But obviously the other factor is who you're surrounded by or who you surround yourself with. I guess in Freshers Week, you don't really get a choice of who you're surrounded with. So yeah, it is quite dependent on who you get in your flat in Freshers Week if you're in student accommodation. However, what I did find is that most people that I met were really, really nice. Even if I was going out and not drinking one night, no one tries to give you alcohol, tries to pressure you into it. That could just be me being lucky, but that is what I found. So it's very much you do you, and I've never felt any other way, to be honest. Something else which I often hear about going out at university is that you need to do that to make friends. I can tell you that that's definitely not true. If you don't want to go out, it does not mean that you're not going to make friends. What I actually found is that going out wasn't really my way to make friends, because in a club you can't really talk to people or get to know anyone. So I wouldn't say I actually made any friends from going out. The friends that I made were when everyone's sober, when you can actually talk to each other. So yeah, do not worry about having to go out to make friends. That is not true at all. That was all the social stuff that I wanted to talk about. So now I'm going to move on to other aspects of uni. I feel like in a way these tips might be even more helpful, because you hear the social side of things being talked about a lot, but no one's talking about money, for example. So I thought I would talk a little bit about managing money, how to do it. So if you care about that, watch this section. Uni for me personally was the first time that I properly had to manage money by myself, which is actually a really big responsibility, and there's so many tips that would have been helpful before I was going in. So after becoming wiser, the way that I sorted out my money was, I always had my money for necessities, so rent, food, transport, if you need to use transport to get to uni. So I counted those as necessities, and I had to have money set aside for those that was definitely going to be spent. And then the rest of my money, obviously it wasn't just spend it all on online shopping or spend it all on whatever. I kept that money for nights out, people's birthdays if we were having a meal out, birthday gifts. So yeah, basically just splitting your money into chunks and watching where it's going can do you the world of good. It helps so much. So I definitely recommend having a good money plan from the start. Next adult topic I'm going to talk about is cooking. This was horrible. I got to uni and I thought I was proficient in the kitchen, but I ended up eating baked beans, scrambled eggs and toast for dinner for 2 to 3 weeks before ringing my mum and telling her I needed her help, despite being adamant on not needing her help before going to uni. So with food, definitely learn a few recipes before you leave. You've got this month now before you go off to uni. Learn some easy recipes, cheap recipes, things that you can do quickly. Honestly, I cannot tell you how much I wish I had learned recipes. Now that I've got some, life's really easy. But yeah, when I didn't know what I was doing, I felt so hopeless. So I feel like this is one of the most important pieces of advice I'm giving today. Learn how to cook something. Now I'm going to go on to what you actually need to take to uni and what you don't need to take. So keeping in theme with cooking, kitchen stuff. Check if your accommodation is going to give you your kitchen stuff or if you need to take your own. I had to take my own. And I took one of everything, thinking that that would be really clever because, hey, it's just me. If I just take one of everything, I'm saving space. And then I started inviting my friends up to stay with me, and I realized that I actually couldn't give them a plate to eat on. So if you think you're gonna have people over, even your parents coming to visit, like you need a few extra glasses, a few extra plates if you're gonna make something for them in the kitchen. Now in terms of uni stuff, obviously for your uni things, you're just gonna have what you had at school, same stationery, stuff like that. I feel like whatever you used for A-levels is still gonna work for you in uni. The main thing that I will say is have a backpack, because I used to have like a handbag, like those big handbags at school, and that was okay. But at uni, there's a lot more like walking because it's a campus rather than just getting off the bus like I used to for secondary school. So the handbag got really old really quick. It hurt my shoulders so much. So yeah, a bit random, but I would really recommend having a backpack. It's so much better for you. I could go on for ages about what you need and what you don't need, and I'm not going to do that in this video because it's going to take way too long. If you have any specific questions, let me know and I'll give you my thoughts. But yeah, the main things I'd say, watch out for what kitchen stuff you need and have a backpack. This final thing that I'm going to talk about in this video is probably the most personal, and it is loneliness and homesickness. So before going to uni, it didn't even occur to me that I would get lonely or homesick. Everyone bigs up uni so much, says how amazing it is. So I was like, I'm just gonna fall in love. I'm gonna be completely fine. It's gonna be amazing. And for me personally, that was not the case at all in like the first couple of weeks. I obviously enjoyed myself, took advantage of all the activities that were going on, but I did feel really lonely and I did feel really homesick. It's really scary, like going into a new place, and I think maybe I put too much pressure on it being perfect or being amazing. So basically I added this last section in to remind you guys not to put too much pressure on uni being perfect straight from the get-go, because it might not be. It's a big change and it's okay if you do feel like stressed out or lonely when you first get there. The best tips that I could give for getting through that first bit is just talking to people that you love, talking to your family, talking to your friends from home. Like, it makes it feel a lot better and you're not alone, you've got people to talk to. So yeah, it really helps doing that, and definitely trust that it's all gonna work out okay in the end, because it certainly did for me, and I absolutely love uni now. I really hope that video was helpful in answering any of your questions, addressing any of your concerns before you start uni. I wish I'd known all those things before starting, so yeah, fingers crossed it will make your life a tiny bit easier. As always, message me on Instagram if you have any other questions, or comment any other questions below. Before ending this video, I want to leave you with a slightly cheesy but very true message, and that is, if you are going to the uni that you want to go to study what you love, then everything is definitely going to work out fine in the end, and there is absolutely nothing to worry about. Best of luck to all of you guys waiting on results or getting ready to go to uni and all of that. If you like this video, please do like and subscribe. I've got loads more uni content coming soon and other general content too. But yeah, thanks for watching and I hope you enjoyed.